Well, that story broken this week by the investigative journalist at News 24, Sikonathi Mantshantsha. He joins us now. Sikonathi, good morning. I do appreciate you coming through. Thank you. What do we know about this deal between the pensions fund and Shula developers? It seems, from what you've said, money's already been paid over for a building Shula developers has no control over.
Stephen, the 36 million rands that has been paid to Shula developers is to refurbish the building inside, partition it into offices to house the head office of the Government Pensions Administration Agency. Except this has been paid even though Shula Developers itself does not have access to the building, cannot execute that work to divide up the building and ready it for occupation. The reason for that is that it does not own the building. It does not lease the building from the owner, Attack, who confirmed it has absolutely had no dealings with Shula Developers or with the Government Pensions Administration Agency, whose head office must move there. Now, that means the whole transaction, first, the 1 billion rand to lease the building over 10 years is fraudulent and is actually fictitious, should never have been signed. One. Two, the additional 239 million rands, of which that 36 million is down payment, should also never have been done because neither of the parties have access to that building. They don't own the building, and the owners of the building have their own tenants inside the building. The SARS office in Pretoria is in that building. Old Mutual has got an office there in that building, and they have valid leases for the time that Shula has allegedly or purportedly leased to the GPAA. So this smacks of fraud. It smacks of corruption. It really smacks of a lot of things that should not have been done, and people should actually be in handcuffs for that kind of transaction.
Who at the pensions agency made these decisions? I mean, surely at the very least you would check if a company owns the building they're going to rent to you. I mean, it's a bit like me renting you this desk when it's News from Africa's desk.
The chief executive of the pension funds, Kidiboni Madihe, gave approval for the transaction after two committees, the bid evaluation and bid adjudication committee, went through the tender process and recommended the one company that actually has no property to lease, overlooking three others that had proof in the form of title deeds to the properties they were offering for this 10-year agreement to move the head office. So Kidiboni Madihe is the chief executive of the Government Pensions Administration Agency, and she appended her signature in approval to the transaction. The chairperson of the bid adjudication committee and the bid committee was, both committees, they were chaired by one person and had exactly the same people as members. So we sit on this side and decide we are the bid specification committee, and tomorrow we are the bid adjudication committee. Mongezi Mngubisa chaired those two committees, and they included, amongst others, a person by the name of Leon Nevoot, who was part of it. There were 5 other members, and they are all listed in the News 24 story.
I mean, it's astonishing. When you first approach, I mean, I presume at some point you would have approached the Pensions Administration Agency for comment. Did they give any explanation as to how this happened? I
gave them about a week with a set of questions, straightforward questions that could be answered within 10 minutes. On what day did you inspect that particular building? Please show me the attendance register of the people who went and looked at that building and decided it is suitable and better than the others that were offered, one by the Public Investment Corporation, which already manages the government employees pension fund assets, which they provide, the GPAA provides the administration services for. All of those. So please answer these questions. Who of your employees went and saw that building? Please provide me the proof that Shula actually owns the building. They said, no, we can't talk. Their internal processes investigating this deal, a deal that they did 8 months ago, and they are now investigating it.
Sure. Who has oversight of this agency? I mean, is it another of these bodies that's overseen by the National Treasury? Are they the ones who now have to deal with this?
So the Pensions Fund Administration Agency, the GPAA, reports directly to the Minister of Finance, who is currently in Godongwana. They administer the pension assets of the government employees' pension funds. That's about 3 trillion rands of civil servants' salary pensions and retirees. They have no board. There's a chief executive who reports directly to the finance minister, and the finance minister would obviously be aware, and I know for certain that during the first week of June, he was made aware formally by the chairperson of the audit committee of the Government Pensions Administration and said, Minister, we are concerned about these irregularities. They bring the stability of the GPA and the funds at risk. Please stop these transactions. Please investigate them. And nothing has happened so far. The minister only said to us in response to our questions that he has requested the Office of the Auditor General to investigate these, but the payments happened and are still, the transactions are still going on. So not much has been done by the finance minister to stop the rot. And certainly some of the people that have raised these issues have now been threatened with disciplinary action.
Sure. I mean, one of the problems with all of this is that, and we've seen deals before being stopped, but money's already been paid over. What I don't quite understand is that I would have thought that if you're going to have a 10-year contract, R1 billion over that period, it's up to you to make sure that it's ready. Someone doesn't pay you in advance. I don't think I've ever paid sort of in advance before occupying. You know, is that how it normally works?
Stephen, fiction writers could not possibly dream this thing up. You have the Public Investment Corporation, which tenders a building and says, we can actually house you. Here's our title deed. Come look at our office space. It's suitable. You have SKG Africa, which has, and one other company. There were 3 other bidders who actually owned the properties. They were tendering for this deal. And they were all ignored in favor of the one that actually did not own the building. And we did ask Schuler, of course, whether they did own the building or currently own the building now. They said, we met all the requirements at the time, so we're not talking about it. There's a court case coming. So it's literally plain fraud, it would appear to me. It's plain fraud that has been visited upon the salaries and the pensions of the civil servants, whose assets these are.
Sikonathi Mantshantsha, thank you very much indeed.